So it is 3 days after we finished recording the vast majority of this episode of the podcast, and it is Wednesday afternoon, and we're going to be discussing the Switch 2 Direct that happened earlier this morning. We're going to very quickly go over, everything we saw today, and in 2 weeks' time, we're going to go into more detail and talk about all the additional information that we get over the coming days, because there's going to be a lot of Nintendo treehouses, and people are going to get hands-on with the Switch 2 in various places across the planet. And, that'll be exciting to talk about when, all the information comes out. But for now, the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct started with Mario Kart World. We got a full trailer reveal, and Mario Kart World is a massive interconnected world that Nintendo wants you to explore. While there will be traditional levels with up to 24 drivers, there is much more freedom during and outside of the races. Rather than switching between tracks, you will manually drive to the next one. We also saw characters grinding on rails and riding walls. There will be 2 brand new game modes, Knockout Tour and Free Roam. Knockout Tour is an elimination/battle royale style mode where you have to be the last driver racing as you travel across the wide world of this latest Mario Kart to avoid elimination. So, are you a big Mario Kart player?
See, my relationship with Mario Kart is complicated because I really, really like the game and I play them quite frequently. They give me motion sickness so bad, so I can't stand to play them for more than hours at a time. And it really, really sucks because I'm super excited for Mario Kart World. Mostly the Knockout Tour thing. I'm like that when I saw that in the direct, I was like, that looks fascinating. So it's I'm super excited for it, but I'm also concerned. I hope that there's settings in the settings if we get any that'll alleviate motion sickness or whatever. But other than outside of my own personal things, I'm really excited. It looks really cool. It's exciting to see some of the characters they decided to include. The Moo Moo Meadows cow was kind of crazy, but I rock with it heavily.
Yeah, Moo Moo Meadows cow over Dry Bones is crazy though. But
I think you never know. There might be more.
But yeah, it looks good. This will probably be my first Mario Kart. I don't believe I've ever played
Oh
Mario
wow.
Kart. There's a lot of Nintendo games
At
that I just
all?
haven't played before. Yeah, I've not played Mario Kart.
Wow.
So this will probably be my first. So it is launching alongside the Switch 2 on June 5th, and it will cost $80, which isn't just higher than any Switch 1 game, but it's more than any other game, period. Even PlayStation, Xbox, PC games don't cost $80 unless you're buying the digital deluxe edition or something like that.
Right.
And the hope is that this is a Mario Kart thing because they know that everybody and their mother is going to buy Mario Kart, so they know they can fleece them.
Right.
But also it could not be, and games might be going up another $10 in a very short period of time, because we had $60 for decades, or 15 years, and then we went up to 70, and then to go up to 80 in less than 5 years would be crazy.
Right, and then that's before all the tariffs and stuff. Ugh.
Yeah, it's wild.
I hope that they do a thing. This probably won't happen, but I have my fingers crossed that they'll do a thing where it's if you buy it physically, it's $80, but if you buy it digitally, you get a slight discount. I feel I
believe it actually costs more physically, so I think 80
that makes sense.
The cheapest. Yeah, they're really trying to push us towards digital, which we'll talk a lot more about in the next episode when we really go into how much a lot of this stuff costs. Nintendo announced the Mario Kart World Direct will take place on April 17th at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, it seems like they're taking a lot of inspiration from some of their contemporaries with this game, like Forza Horizon, which is Xbox's open world racing game. I saw some of additional kind of footage from the game of the open world that either, I don't know if I missed it because I was taking notes, or it was just from some stuff from the website and a separate trailer where they showed more of the actual free roaming stuff where you can get off of the road and ride into the grass and across a desert, and it looks really cool.
It does.
Decided to check this out. So
yeah,
now getting into the specs. The Switch 2 has a 7.9-inch 1080p LCD screen, unfortunately not OLED, that supports HDR and up to 120 frames per second, variable refresh rate. And when using the dock, you, I can only imagine how surprised you were. You can play
Mhm.
games at up to 4K resolution at 60
I
frames per
know.
second. Nobody was expecting this. No one expected a Nintendo console to have 4K this soon. I thought we were going to have to wait
Right.
another 10 years before we got 4K on a Nintendo console. But no, they did it. They did what everybody wanted.
They locked in.
They did it. Yeah, the Switch 2 tech specs site says that the console will offer up to 6.5 hours of battery life, with a footnote that says these are rough estimates. The battery life will depend on the games you play. It has 256 gigabytes of internal storage, up from the 32 gigabytes of the first Switch. And finally, we got an official reveal of the mouse functionality of the new Joy-Con
Yeah.
2s. It will launch June 5th at $449.99 with a $49.99 Mario Kart bundle, which would make essentially be the equivalent of buying Mario Kart for $50. And pre-orders
Mhm.
begin April 9th. So obviously everybody's going to get that bundle. I'm going to get that bundle. If I can't get this bundle, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm probably just going to straight up not get Mario Kart because I don't know
And
if
that's valid.
I'm not about to pay $80 for no game. That's crazy.
Yeah, no. It maybe any other game, maybe not Mario Kart, not in a million years.
I'm not that into Mario Kart to want to do that.
Yeah,
Like I've never played it before, so I don't even know if I like it. I'm not going to pay
right.
80 bucks for a game I'm not sure if I like, but I'll pay $50 for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you think about those specs? Very surprising.
So I'm not usually a specs person, but to see a Nintendo console like reach this level of like the 120 frames, the just all of it is so surprising. But like it makes me so I've never been excited for a console before, like
Yeah,
ever in my life.
the dock is so powerful that it has a fan.
That's what I'm saying.
And by itself, if
This
you
thing
need
is like,
a replacement dock, it costs $120.
oh yikes. But like I don't know. It's just like seeing this thing. mm, where am I at now, brain wise? It's like I can only imagine what the homebrewing potential of this thing is going to be once it settles in. You know what I'm saying? It's like what crazy things are people going to do with this, like they did with the 3DS and whatnot. It's exciting to see. Very exciting.
Yeah. So, the mysterious C button was revealed, and it is for the Game Chat. Game Chat is a new online feature from Nintendo that will let players play and talk with each other while playing Nintendo Switch 2 games. Once Game Chat is activated, players will be able to press the C button on the right Joy-Con to not only start chatting with friends, but also share their screen, use video chat with the Nintendo Switch 2 camera accessory, or other compatible USB-C cameras, and more. Uh, Supposedly, the mic will be able to pick up your voice from across the room in docked mode and have noise cancellation that can get rid of background noise and isolate your voice. But I highly doubt it's that sophisticated.
Yeah,
But we'll have
I
to wait
think
and see.
yeah,
That was
I
kind of
definitely think they were kind
ridiculous.
of BSing a bit.
Somebody
Yeah,
using a blender in the background and they can hear your voice clearly. Yeah, right. If they pulled that off,
yeah.
that would be insane. But yeah,
Hmm.
they essentially just made Nintendo Discord.
Right.
They doing
I
it like
know
this so that parents could have more control over this stuff for their kids. But
for
all
sure, which I
because
actually think is good.
if they just did like Discord functionality, then kids could just do whatever and it could get weird. So they want to like
Yeah.
limit. They want to have control over it. It's why Nintendo has been super weird about voice chats over the decades, because
Hmm.
children are their
Just
primary audience, and people online can be weirdos.
very weird. Very weird.
So I understand why they're doing this, even though it's still, it's not that deep, because ultimately, before like consoles had Discord functionality like they do now, people would just get on Discord on their phone and just
Right.
talk to their friends while playing games that way. So you can still do that. so
Yeah, that's how me and my cousins would play Animal Crossing together.
so yeah, this just makes it a little bit easier if you want to do it that way. You could just keep doing it what you always have been. The camera functionality is
Mhm.
interesting,
Very interesting.
especially that they have their own like proprietary camera too.
I think honestly, seeing it in the direct, I was like, this is kind of. I don't think anybody's gonna like buy this, but I see why
Yeah,
they
I can
included
see
it,
people
if that makes
who
sense.
already have cameras plugging it up to the Switch, but I don't see
Right.
a lot of people buying the Nintendo Switch camera
Yeah. Nobody
for anything
unless
other
they're.
than
It's like
novelty because they're super fans
yeah.
or
I was gonna
something,
say.
and they want to
Hmm.
own like every Switch peripheral.
Yeah. Especially depending on the price of that thing. Yeah.
I think it's $60.
Ridiculous. No one's buying it. Sorry, Nintendo.
Yeah. They also showed off a Game Share. Game Share lets you play multiplayer titles locally across different systems with only one of you needing to have the game installed. Maybe this will help cut on game cost alongside, being able to share your digital game cards. This
Mm-hmm.
feature is available between Switch 2 systems and from Switch 2 to Switch 1. Nintendo stated that Game Share will only be available on select titles at launch.
Mm-hmm. For now, I think Clubhouse games, and then they'll expand further and further as the demand increases. But Clubhouse games, I think, is a good starting for it because like that's probably what people will want to share the most. It's very DS download play esque, which I really really. We were like, yeah, you
Yeah,
can share it with up to 4 people and play together. That's
yeah,
immediately
for
what I
sure.
thought.
It
I
has
was like, yeah, that's like,
definitely be great. Like, let's say, either I somehow don't get the Switch with Mario Kart, or someone else doesn't get it, but I do, and it's like they want to play Mario Kart and they have the Switch too, but they don't have Mario Kart because they don't want to pay $80 for it. And it's like, okay, we can play Mario Kart. We can just play it locally, or I could lend it to you. There's Nintendo has ways around it, which is cool
mm-hmm.
that they have those things built in.
Yeah.
So we got the announcement of a new Switch 2 Pro controller, which will
Mm-hmm.
absolutely be my primary way to play. This update comes
Yeah,
with
for sure.
a C button, of course, an audio jack for plugging in mics and headphones, and two back pedals, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you got two
You can
additional
assign them to
buttons.
whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only thing about the Switch 2 Pro controller that I'm disliking is the fact that I have to get one.
I
like
believe it is 80 bucks.
which is ridiculous. That's about how much pro
Controllers are
controllers are
expensive, yeah.
anyway.
Is it like what is
But
it? The
like,
Xbox and PlayStation Pro controllers are insane in terms of cost.
yeah, it's like I think my thing with it is right. Like the Switch 2 is so new that there are no bootleg like controllers for it, so I can't go on Amazon and get the silly ones that say like Squintendo or whatever because they don't exist. So I have to pay $80 for this thing.
I mean, you could wait, just
I
use Joy
do,
Cons. I'm
huh?
curious. I don't know if they've said that the old one isn't compatible though.
Yeah, I was going to say if the old one's compatible, then I'm not gonna
Yeah, you
buy a
can
new one
just
unless I
yeah
absolutely
you can just
do.
wait until the third party ones happen.
Mm-hmm. Because I don't think I'm going to be using the voice chat function very much. Most
Yeah.
people that like I'm friends with on Switch Online or people I know in real life. So
Mhm. So they showed off a Switch 2 Welcome Tour game. And a Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour is an interactive and fun way to learn more about this new console and everything it can do, and will launch with the Switch 2. But for some weird reason, you have to buy it. Why doesn't
that's
this come with the system?
insane.
Like
Right.
there were Astrobot tech demos on both the PS4 and PS5 that you did not have to pay for. They were just part of the game to like show off all of the new functionality of the console. And these games are definitely like, in terms of production, like definitely cost more than this. So why
I was
is
gonna say, aren't
this?
they like actual games
Yes,
rather than like
it's the reason why they
oh
eventually ended up making a full on Astrobot games, because these mini Astrobot games that they used to show off the consoles were so good.
oh Nintendo.
Yeah, this is such a weird choice by Nintendo. They're really trying to gouge people. It's upsetting.
No, for real.
So next, some real exciting news of them doing more of the
Yes.
stuff that we actually want them to do. We got the announcements of several Switch 2 edition games. Games that are
Mm-hmm.
or will be available on the OG Switch that will be upgraded for the Switch 2. The first one they showed was Super Mario Party Jamboree plus Jamboree TV, which will add new features and modes that take advantage of the Switch 2. This expanded version will feature mini games that use mouse controls, the built in mic, and the Nintendo Switch 2 camera alongside a new Bowser live game show 2v2 experience. So what did you think about that? You a big Mario Party player?
A Mario Party player, not the more recent ones, because
Mm.
I don't know, Jamboree just was not doing it for me. However, I am excited about these new game modes because I know they're gonna be. I feel like they're gonna be clunky, but in like the fun way that like a new console, like trying out new technology, always is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this seems like the best use of the camera.
For sure. And then also you called it because remember you were I think in our earlier recording session you were talking about like how you were hoping like fingers crossed for like re-releases of these games
Oh
really
yeah,
like
oh yeah,
HDified for Switch 2.
oh
So you
yeah.
called it.
So
I saw that and I
speaking of
thought of you
which,
immediately.
the two games I wanted it for the most, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, are both getting Switch 2 editions at launch that will grant smoother frame rates, faster load times, and better graphics. I'm curious at just how faster these load times will be.
Yeah, same.
And they'll probably be like less popping and stuff like that. Definitely excited for that. Those will be the first two games I get, other than the game that it's if I hopefully get the bundle. Other than that, these will be the first two games I get. Next, another game I'm super excited for is a character that I love. I love Kirby, and Kirby in the Forgotten Lands is getting a Switch 2 edition that includes a brand new story called Star-Crossed World that will include new mouthful modes to utilize. The game will also have improved performance when it arrives on Switch 2 on August 28th of 2025. So yeah, I love Kirby. I love Kirby so much. I also want to get the Switch so I can go back and play old Kirby games because I love Kirby Dreams. I love Kirby's Dream Land so much.
It's based. It's based. I'm a superstar enjoyer myself, but
Next, we have the thing that so many people thought wouldn't happen. Not only is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond getting a Nintendo Switch 2 edition, of all of the Nintendo Switch 2 editions, it is the only one that is getting a 4K 60 edition. And it will have a mode, that will be the quality mode, and it's getting a performance mode that's going to be 1080p 120 frames per second. And it will feature a mouse control. So you can play it, like a first-person shooter. With mouse and not amazing. Keyboard, but mouse and other controller.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of people thought this would happen, but not only did it happen, but it happened in a bigger way than anybody could have ever expected.
Exactly, which is exciting.
Yeah, and last but certainly not least, we have Pokemon Legends EA, which would be coming to Nintendo Switch 2 with improved resolution and frame rates when it releases later this year. And so these cost money, but we don't know how much. Normally, it would be like $10. That's how PlayStation Xbox does it. But with how much this stuff costs, people are afraid that it might cost like $20. But for me, I would just be buying these games for the first time, so it wouldn't be that deep. But
yeah,
if you already own Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, and you have Switch Online Expansion Pass, it's free. The upgrade's free.
Wait, really?
Yes. But the rest of them
noted
seem like they still cost money, but we'll have to see if that's true or not. Next, we have DragxDrive. DragxDrive is a brand new online 3v3 game that puts the focus on Switch 2's new mouse controls. Players will use their Joy-Cons to play basketball and control their wheelchairs, perform tricks, shoot and dunk the ball, and more. This is probably insanely cool for wheelchair-bound people to see, and I hope that we can get more games like this that represent disabilities in a way that isn't like pitying and is like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this releases summer 2025. The only unfortunate thing is I think that this is a tech demo. That's all this is.
Yeah.
But
that's what it feels like.
So is like ARMS. But the difference is this looks so bland and boring in comparison.
Yeah.
Like this could have been way more interesting. I feel like they did not put a lot of work into making this actually look cool.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
Fingers crossed on release that like it kind of changes a little, like the look of it changes a little and it gets a little more interesting because the concept is fascinating, and like you said, like the disability rep is really, really cool to see. So like I hope that we get a little bit more on top of what we've already been shown, because like you said, it definitely looks very tech demo-esque and not in a good way.
Yeah. So next we got some Nintendo Online updates. GameCube games are finally coming to to Nintendo Switch Online, but they are exclusive to Nintendo Switch 2. These classic games will begin launching when Switch 2 is released, and it will all start with The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, F-Zero
Mm-hmm.
GX, and Soul Calibur 2 with a playable Link. Um, yeah, so a lot of people want Wind Waker HD,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, this is not that. But it's Wind
but it's
Waker.
close. Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
event.
definitely gonna be playing it.
Yeah. So Nintendo will also be releasing a brand new wireless GameCube controller that can be used to play these titles. I wait. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did they do the
Mhm.
GameCube controller before, and they're doing it again with the C button,
I
or is this the
don't.
first time they did GameCube controller?
I think it's the first time they've done it, and all
Yeah.
the other ones are like third party. But I'm
Okay.
not sure. Don't quote me on that.
Because they said that, and I was like, what? I could have swore they did this before, and I'm like, am I confusing it with the N64 controller? I could have swore they did both, but I don't know. I think maybe it's just they're adding the C
Mm.
button, but we'll see. They'll probably do the N64
Yeah,
controllers with the C button eventually too.
yeah.
So next we have a bunch of third-party games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch. So they started with the biggest one, Elden Ring Tarnished Edition,
Mm-hmm.
which includes the base game, plus the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion, new weapons, armor, and Torrent appearance customizations, which Torrent is the horse that you ride in the game.
Ooh.
Next, we got Hades 2, which was they just essentially just said that it's coming to Switch. But in the IGN article by Adam Bankhurst, I discovered that
Mm.
it's going to be coming to the Switch exclusively at first for like a short period of time or something like that.
Ooh.
It's coming to the Switch
Okay.
before the other consoles, like it did with the first game. It came out on Switch in full. The like 1.0 version came out on the Switch before it came out on PS4 and Xbox and PC. Or maybe it came out on PC at the same time, but it did not
It
come
came
out
out on PC.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it did come out on PS4 and Xbox. So yeah, that's interesting.
Very
And it will have
but very exciting
yeah,
also.
it will have 60 frames per second. I'm excited for that.
Me
Because
too.
hopefully they have cross save day one, so I can transfer my save from my PC to my Switch.
I would think so.
Next, we saw Street Fighter 6 coming to Switch 2, and it will have 3 amiibos of Luke, Jamie, and Kimberly.
Which is interesting to me because I didn't think they did amiibos anymore.
Yeah,
But
and they're
I'm
doing
mad at
amiibos
it.
of third-party stuff, which is interesting.
Right.
So I'm going to run through a lot of these. Next, we have Daemon X Machina, Titanic Scion, Split Fiction, EA Sports games, so Madden,
Mhm.
Football Club, Hogwarts Legacy, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4, Hitman World of Assassination, and then they said that Project 007, which is being made by the Hitman devs, is coming to Switch, but they didn't show us any new information. I got so excited because I was like, oh my god, we're finally going to see some gameplay from the James Bond game they're making. I'm so excited for that. I love James Bond so much.
I bet. Yeah.
We've been talking about. I've been like going through all of the old ones. I love James Bond. James Bond's great, and I'm so excited for this game.
Real.
Of course, I grew up on 007 too, and this is or GoldenEye specifically, and this was them being essentially a little wink and nod at GoldenEye.
As I say, it felt very cheeky.
Yeah. So also Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD remaster.
I do want to talk about this very briefly because Bravely Default is one of my other favorite Square Enix properties.
Yeah, I've heard that it's
RPG-wise.
a very underrated.
And I've been playing through the original
RPG
on my 3DS. Huh?
No, I've heard that it's a very underrated RPG.
It's super underrated. Bravely Default is really, really good, but I was playing it on my DS, and then my DS broke. So I've been craving. I've been craving Bravely Default really badly. So to see it be released and I don't know. It gives me hope because some of the games didn't get released in America, so I'm like, maybe if the remaster does good, they'll release the rest of them here. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully. Next, we got a Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which when they first showed Yakuza, I was like, oh, we're about to get all of them. But no, it's just Yakuza 0. I guess I will get the rest eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, piecemeal me, thanks.
Yeah, next, which was, it felt weird until you realize that this is made by a third-party studio, even though it's using a Nintendo original IP, is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment, coming this winter. Nintendo and Koei Tecmo are working on a new Musou-style game Uh, that will serve as a prequel to The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. So yeah, look cool. I'm not into like Musou games. I
Yeah.
used to play a little bit of Dynasty
Yeah, me
Warriors when I
neither.
was younger, but they're not my style.
Hmm.
I prefer
Yeah.
hack and slash to be a little bit tighter, require a little bit more
Yeah, for
skill.
sure. Hmm.
So, oh, I guess this is when they showed the Nintendo GameCube Classics, just in the middle of this. But next we have Deltarune Chapters 3 and 4 launching alongside the first two, which, previously already came out, when the Nintendo Switch releases on June 5th. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I have not played Undertale. I'm going to have to play that one these days.
You haven't?
Nope. I've watched people play it.
I still have my
I watched Markiplier play it when I was younger, but
That's-
I've not played it myself.
That's valid. I still have my Humble Bundle link from all those years ago when I bought it. So if you want to play it,
Okay.
I have the hookup.
So then we have Borderlands 4, 2K WWE, 2K NBA, Survival Kids, Enter Gungeon, Starseeker, Astroneer Expeditions, and then two really big ones. Two games that I love a lot. One of them is like legitimately one of my favorite games of all time, and the other one that made me like rethink about how I feel about RPGs, JRPGs specifically. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is coming to the Switch. A game that wouldn't even run on a PS4 is coming to a Switch. Insanity.
Crazy how that works.
It's crazy. It's insane how that works. And Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, which comes with the DLC with Yuffie. Exciting. Which you have a PS4. Have you played Final Fantasy VII Remake?
No, I've been putting it off, but now that it's on Switch 2, I have no excuse.
Yeah. And it's coming to Switch 2 before Xbox. Fuck Xbox, I guess.
Know. That is so funny to me.
So next we have Duskbloods. A huge surprise. Let me tell you something, Naira. For a hot second, because hold on before you say what you'll say, because maybe you're about to say what I'm about to say. So first off, the stream went down, or it froze. So I had to switch to watching somebody's reaction because I was like, I don't want to watch anybody's reaction. I want to watch it like by myself, then watch reactions afterwards.
Right.
So I had to switch to watching Kind of Funny's reaction because the stream froze. What I realized, what I should have done is gone to the UK stream because the UK stream was running fine because I was watching it through Nintendo of America. And so I was watching them react to it, and the people at Kind of Funny were having me convinced that this, after the FromSoft, well, first they were just having me convinced that it's one game, and then when the FromSoft showed up, they had me convinced that it was that game made by FromSoft. I thought we were about to get a FromSoft Castlevania.
See.
They had me convinced for a hot second that we were about to get a FromSoft Castlevania. Everything we've been talking about for months, I thought was about to happen. But what did you think it was before it was revealed?
Listen, I'm not even gonna lie to you for a single second. I was like Bloodborne 2. I'm like, this is insane.
And the thing is, that's basically what this is.
On Switch?
That's basically what this is. This is basically Bloodborne 2. It's being made by Hidetaka Miyazaki, the director of the Dark Souls games and Elden Ring and Bloodborne. And unfortunately, PlayStation owns the rights to Bloodborne, and they refuse to do anything with Bloodborne. They won't even remaster it like a lot of people want them to. And this is essentially like a spiritual successor to that. That is exclusive to the Switch. Not only are we getting Elden Ring on a Switch, but we're getting a new FromSoft game that is exclusive to the Switch. The tides are turning. They're changing. Nintendo getting an exclusive FromSoft game? That is insane. That's ridiculous. It's coming in 2026. This new PvE multiplayer action game, which is giving us Bloodborne vibes, features a very gothic-looking world, and it appears we may be playing as a vampire as we see the player character biting into someone's neck. So yeah, this looks awesome, and it kind of, in a sense, if they have a whip, it's Castlevania. If there's a whip in this game, I am only using that whip.
As you should.
Towards the end of the trailer, there is a voice that is, I'm almost 100% certain it is the dude who voices Victor from Arcane. He has a very distinct voice, and I was like, that is him. But there's going to be an article going up on the 4th that is what do you call it? Interview with Miyazaki, discussing more about
Yeah.
this. So we'll have more to talk about in the next episode. Next,
Mhm.
we have my goat, Kirby. We have Kirby Air Riders.
Yes.
Directed by Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of Kirby, director of Smash Bros. Coming to the Switch too later this year in 2025. We didn't see any gameplay, but we did get a glimpse of Kirby on his Warp Star machine and other Kirby Air Riders on different machines. This will be the first Kirby Air Ride game since the original was released on GameCube in 2003. This is cool. I didn't know that Kirby even had a Kirby Kart game. I hope it's good. Hope it does well.
Everyone's been like clamoring for a new Kirby Air Ride, and first of all, having a bit of a Mandela effect here because I always thought it was Kirby's Air Ride, like apostrophe S, but it's not, and it never has been, and that's kind of insane to me.
Yeah, there's no fruit in the cornucopia in Fruit Loom. Or is it that there's no cornucopia at all and it's just fruit? I can't remember.
I think it's that there's no cornucopia at all and there never has been. But no, that's not true. Like all the other Mandela effects, like the Berenstain Bears one, I can understand. But like
that's just mispronunciation.
Right. Or like the Nelson Mandela thing, that's just bad memory. But like I have seen the Fruit of the Loom with the cornucopia in it. I know I have.
They're deceiving us.
And you can't tell me otherwise.
But yeah, I'm excited to see more of this game eventually.
Yeah.
And the last thing.
It's nice to see Sakurai back.
Sorry, go ahead. Well, first...
I was just saying it was nice to see.
Yeah, for a second, I thought it was Smash Bros. Because Kirby is the unofficial main character of Smash Bros. And because Sakurai loves Kirby. And yeah, I thought it was Smash Bros. For a second. I don't know if I mentioned it before. But I think I literally talked about it last episode. If Smash Bros. Comes back, they should just start over, just Nintendo characters, redo all the characters' movesets. But that's besides the point.
Or give us like a Melee remake or something. I don't know. Or like a Brawl. I would like a Brawl remake a lot.
Melee, might come with the GameCube stuff with Nintendo Online.
True.
But yeah, the very last game we saw was extremely surprising. Kinda. This has been something that's been rumored and people have thought was going to happen for a while because it was kind of just about time. And initially, this looked like it was going to be like a Super Mario Odyssey 2. It looked like it was going to be a brand new 3D Mario game because it's been a while. We haven't had a 3D Mario game since, 2017, right? The first year that the Switch came out. So, yeah, we've not had a 3D Mario game for a long time. So it was like, yeah, okay, 3D Mario. That makes sense. But no, it's Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong Bonanza. The official blurb from the Nintendo website reads as such. Get ready for Donkey Kong Bonanza, a brand new 3D platforming action adventure, available exclusively on Nintendo Switch 2. Crash, bash, and climb through nearly everything in DK's path, and tear off chunks of terrain to swing around and throw in groundbreaking exploration. Literally. The more that is demolished with powerful punches, the more areas open up to discover. Break on through this adventure full of mayhem, surprises, and bananas when Donkey Kong Bonanza crashes onto Nintendo Switch July 17th, a little over a month after it releases, the Nintendo Switch that is. This looks incredible. It looks awesome. The art style is so good, and they read it.
I'm fascinated by it.
People noticed that Donkey Kong had a redesign in the very first Nintendo Switch 2 trailer where they showed a little glimpse of Mario Kart World, and everybody was like, why does he look different? He's got to be getting a new game. They didn't just redesign him and him alone and none of the other characters for no reason. And they were right. He's getting a new game. And his design, a lot of people thought it was weird because it's based off his original design versus the, Rare redesign that they did for their games.
Right.
But seeing it in the game and in the art style, he looks incredible. He looks great. And
He looks really good.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't even think they showed Donkey Kong in the Mario Kart trailer.
They didn't.
And I think, it was probably very purposeful because they didn't want to spoil what he looks like.
Right.
But yeah, this game looks awesome. I'm so excited for this. I don't know if I've ever played a Donkey Kong game. This might be my first Donkey Kong game.
I have played Country and Country 2 many, many moons ago, and that was it.
But yeah, a 3D platformer that's based around aggression and destroying stuff is dope. It looks so cool.
Really dope.
And my stupid comic book nerd brain couldn't help but imagine how incredible a Hulk game would be like this.
Ooh,
a game like this, literally you just take everything about this game and make Donkey Kong the Hulk. and it would be perfect. Because not every superhero
True.
game needs to be Spider-Man or Batman. It doesn't need to be these open world, big AAA experiences.
You don't have to tell a story.
It can. Well, I wanted to tell a story, but like, it can be like this, where it's like a platformer, action platformer, the Hulk having to figure stuff out that way, using her strength versus not as much combat, though there is still combat in this game as they show. And I can imagine each one of those bosses being like famous Hulk, villains. Like, yeah, I could imagine this game, but with the Hulk. But this game looks awesome. I'm so excited. But that's it. That's all we got.
Yeah. Especially, one more thing.
Oh, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Donkey Kong Bonanza. Yeah, so first of all, Nintendo's quiet flex with all the particles in the trailer. I know what y'all are.
Yeah.
I feel like some of the devs over there in Nintendo saw like what Astrobot was doing. It's like, we have to match that. We've got to top it. And they did.
Yeah, something else, a comparison to Astrobot that I saw kind of funny had was with the bosses. The bosses were giving Astrobot, but better. Because the bosses in Astrobot are fun to fight, but they lack character and personality in terms of their designs. And
that makes sense.
And in this trailer, all of those bosses look like brand new characters. And they all look interesting and cool because Nintendo's good at that. Whereas Astrobot is like, Astrobot looks cool. But the villains were like whatever in terms of design and personality. They were fun to fight, but other than that, not very much. And that's hopefully something that they learn for the sequel. But yeah, this game looks awesome.